Hey guys, we are moving right along and we are in the 8th grade book, Unit 2. So we're going to actually write 8th 2.1 here. And this unit is on transformation. So we're going to be learning a lot about different types of transformations. And this first section is on translations. This may very well be something that you have seen in possibly like your Map Accelerator. If you're doing that, you might have seen some of these different things, which is great. And then you will have a leg up on everybody else. And this will be a little bit easier of a section for you. So your learning intention is to be able to translate figures in the coordinate plane. You'll know you're successful when you can identify a translation, when you can find the coordinates of a translated figure, and when you can use coordinates to translate a figure. Okay? So first, let's see here. A translation is a transformation that moves every point of the figure the same distance in the same direction without any change in size or orientation. And if you aren't sure what that word orientation means, that means, like, look at my cool emoji here. It's facing directly at us, right? Orientation would be if I took this emoji and I just shifted it. So now the glasses sit like this. That would be changing its orientation. I'm turning it. In a translation, that does not happen. Okay, so it can only go vertically, horizontally, but it stays in the same orientation. So it stays looking exactly the same as you see here. It looks exactly the same. We just moved over and up, but it did not change its size or turn at all. Okay, let's see. Okay, so a transformation is when changing a figure into another figure. Okay, so that's what a transformation is. So that's what we're going to be learning about this whole unit 2 is transformation. So we're learning about many different types, and that just means we're changing one figure into another figure. In this case, we're talking about translations. But when you change one figure, which we call the original figure, into a new figure, we call that the image. Okay, so you're going to be learning different arrow notations throughout the different types of transformations that we're going to be learning about. And in this case, when you have translations, the arrowed notations, here's the original figure. And so this P that you're going to see in front of these points just means point, because we don't know what type of point it is. Like in this case, it's kind of small in this picture, but you can see there's an A, B, and a C. Those are the different points, right? Point A, point B, point C. But because this is just a generalized idea of what you're supposed to do, it just says P, which means point, and you can put in whatever point it is once you go to work with the actual figure. Okay, so the P isn't meaning something that you have to really remember. It's just a placeholder for whatever the point is going to be that you're using. So the original figure is just X. The points are just X and Y. And then when you change the image, it's going to be X plus A and Y plus B. Okay, so those are things that you need to remember. So you're going to move A units horizontally. That means left to right. And you're going to move B units vertically. So that means up and down, which makes a lot of sense because X plus A, well, where's our X axis? It's here, right? Which directions does it go? X axis goes left to right. So it makes complete sense that the A would be moving horizontally and that we add that to our X because that's the direction that our X goes. And then our Y is up and down. So that would make sense that our B would be the units vertically, which is up and down. So we'd be adding whatever that distance is up and down. So when you move to the right, which is this direction, then that means A is equal to positive. Okay, so A is going to be positive. When you move left on a graph, it's going to be negative. So when we go left, it goes negative. So I'm just going to say A is negative. When you go up on a graph, so when you go up the y-axis, that is going to be positive. So now B, because we're going vertically, right? This has to do with the y. So now B is positive. And as you probably guessed, that means when we go down on the y-axis, that is negative. So B is negative. Okay, so let's look at an example here. So we're going to translate the figure 5 units right and 3 units down, and then you're going to graph and label the image. So we're going to write the arrow notation for this rule. So first, the rule x, y is going to change to x plus, well, it says 5 units right. Well, I know if I go right, that's going to be positive. So I'm going to add 5. Okay. And then my y is 3 units down. So I know if I go down, it's negative. So I'm going to subtract 3. Okay. So let's see what happens here. My A is -2. That's where it's at on the x-axis. -2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's -2, 4. So let's just write our ordered pairs first. So A equals -2 and 4. B is, I don't need to put equals. B is -5, 4 as well. And then C is -5, 2. Okay, those are my pairs. So now I have to change these. I have to add 5 to my x and subtract 3 from my y. So -2 plus 5 becomes -3. So let's just write these out. So this is going to be here. I'm going to tell you about that symbol in just a second. So I'm going to do, so -2 plus 5 is 3. And then I have 4 minus 3, which is 1. And then my B is going to be -5 plus 5, which is 0. And then 4 minus 3, which will be 1. And then -5 plus 5 again, which would be 0. And 2 minus 3, which is -1. Now that I have my ordered pairs, I am going to I'm going to plot these points. So now I can go 1, 2, 3, 1. There's my first point. And 0, so I'm going to stay right here for my x and up 1. And then I'm going to do 0 and down to the -1. There's my 3 points. And now I can make my lines to make my triangle. And that is a translation. So you can see it's the same image. We just moved it vertically and horizontally. It did not change its size and it did not change its orientation. It was just shifted up and down and left to right. So I showed you here because I'm going to write these up here. So this was my A, and this is my new B, and this is my new C. So this little symbol you see here is read as A prime. So we use prime symbols when you're naming an image. So if it's the original image, it's just going to have the regular letters. But if you see this symbol up here, that means it's a prime. So that's the image, not the original figure. So original figure, regular numbers. The image always has this symbol, which we call prime. Okay, so that's also very helpful if you get a graph that already has both the original and the image, then knowing that this symbol means that this is prime, that tells you that that's the image. So then you'll be better able to answer the question for that problem. Okay, so that is what you do for this. Let's look on the back side. So you're going to do all of these by yourself. I'm just going to briefly walk you through them. So tell whether the blue figure is a translation of the red figure. So you're going to look at these images. Is the blue figure a translation of the red figure? Yes or no? Does it just move horizontally and vertically and it does not change size or orientation? What about this one? What about this section? Tell me if yes, no, yes, whatever the answer is, okay? Then you're going to move here and you are going to graph and label the image of the figure after the transformation. So here's your rule. So it started out with x and y, and now it's x minus 4 and y plus 1. So what you need to do is you need to figure out what are your points. So let's look at A. A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So the x is 4. So what's 4 minus 4? That's 0. So I know my x is going to start here. And then 1, 2, 3 was my y. What is 3 plus 1? It's 4. So your new A is going to be 0, 4. So I'm going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. My A starts here. Okay? So you're going to try to see if you can label or graph and label the image of the figure after the transformation. So make sure that you plot each of the points and don't forget to put the prime symbol for your image. Do that for all 3 of these. And then this one already has the images. So you see here is your original figure, and here is the image because you see the prime symbol. So you need to tell me what happened here. What is the rule? Okay, so it's going to be x plus something, or maybe it's x minus something and y plus or y minus. You're going to have to write the rule. Just like it's already written here, you're going to write the rule for these 3. Okay, so see if you can figure out if we started here, what did we have to add to this? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So say this was, the x was 4. What did you have to add to 4 to get it to go here, to this spot here? Okay, so see if you can figure those out. If you have questions, of course, as always, make sure you come and talk to me. I would be happy to walk you through them, but I do want you to try. That's how we get better, is by persevering and trying to see if we can figure things out first. Okay? All right, have a great night.